Well, hello there and welcome to what is likely to be our most important video that we are going to publish this month.
Hooray!
That's right, we are talking about those really time-sensitive plants that if you do want to cut them, you need to cut them now in January. Now, there are some trees and shrubs that you would expect to cut over the winter period, and to be honest with you, some of these would have needed to have been done prior to midwinter, which means for those it's too late. But we will get into those as we get into this video. So, the first two plants on the list are your apples and your pears. And these are the only fruit trees we're going to be looking at cutting now. All your other fruits, like your stone fruits, which would be your plums, damsons, gages, nectarines, apricots, cherries, ornamental cherries, all of these stone fruit plants, you don't cut these at this time of year. It is entirely the wrong time period. You'd be cutting all of these the hottest, driest part of the summer. So it's only apples and pears. And the reason why we do it in January instead of, say, earlier on in the winter is because here in the UK, they can be at risk from a rather nasty disease known as fire blight. You do see it around a lot. It used to be a notifiable disease back in the day, but it's pretty much everywhere. There's literally no point in notifying anybody about it. It is there. So in order to avoid catching that rather nasty thing, cut your apples and pears in January. Now we're going to be moving into some controversial areas. The first is going to be your common hornbeam, carpinus. Now you would usually trim back your carpinus in August to September, especially when you're growing trained carpinus trees. However, there is a second opportunity, which is now in order to improve the density of your plant come the spring. So despite the most common time of August, September, you do have this second opportunity now in order to improve the look of your plants. And now we're going to get into walnuts, which gets even worse. In general, it is not recommended to prune back or lop or remove branches from your walnut trees. That is the recommendation of most of the books. But if you really have to, then the Royal Horticultural Society, they recommend pruning your walnuts midsummer to the beginning of the autumn. But it doesn't end there. That's because many walnut growers, such as the Walnut Tree Company, they also recommend a cut in mid-winter. And don't leave it to late winter next month. It's only going to be in January. The reason why is to prevent unnecessary heavy bleeding of sap from these trees. So I haven't cut walnut trees because I tend to go by, you just don't cut them. But you've got a choice. You can go by the Royal Horticultural Society or you can go by the walnut tree growers. Now, if you've got any good experience when it comes to cutting these and the timing of cutting walnuts, let us know in the comments. Like I say, I tend to err on the don't cut them because you shouldn't be cutting them. But if you want to, you can do so. These are the times. Let us know what your experience is.
Oh, hold on a minute. If you're finding this video useful or even just mildly amusing, then don't forget to click the thumbs up, press on that subscription, and if you want to be notified of whenever we release a new video, then click on that notification bell. It helps us more than you know, and it allows us to do stupid visits like this in the future. Anyway, let's continue to find out what old Boiled Bark has to say. Bloody glasses back on. Too hot, too sunny. It's too lovely.
We are now onto your genus Acer, and these are all of your maple trees, another group of plants that are known for excessively bleeding sap, weakening plants and opening them up 2 infections. So January is your last time for these. And we're talking about all of your acers. We're talking about your American acers, very lovely. We're talking about your very famous Canadian maples. Of course, you've got your European maples, and arguably the most attractive, at least in my opinion, are your Japanese acers. Absolutely beautiful. The time is to cut now. Once this time has passed, it's too late. You will have to wait until next year. Now, I can't finish this section without talking about your birches, your Betula genus, because these are often lumped together with your acers, with your walnuts, with your mahonias. It's one of those plants that everybody knows will weep sap really heavily when you cut it at the wrong time of year. And January, although it's fine for those other trees that we mentioned earlier, it's too late for your birches. So don't be cutting these now. It's completely wrong. The sap is already risen. You cut it, it's going to start flowing out. The time to cut your birch trees is going to be midwinter, which kind of finishes technically on the 21st of December, and that date has gone way past. It's all too late. So I want to mention it to say don't do it. And when it does come to cutting all of these trees, you always want to cut them sympathetically. Always cut to a fork, so where you have a branch forming back into a trunk or a bigger branch, you cut it there so any new growth grows out naturally, maintaining the ornamental framework of your branches. Too often I see people just lopping left, right and centre, making an absolute cut halfway through a limb, up here, down there, chop it all through the middle, makes an absolute mess and absolutely destroys the shapes of these trees. Please don't do it. I see professionals do it, so-called. You pay them £200 and all you've ended up with is a ruined tree. So there you go. Birches, you might think you want to do it, don't do it. I am going to put roses on the list only because the Royal Horticultural Society recommends that this is your last opportunity to cut your climbing roses. I don't really agree with it. You certainly wouldn't be cutting back your shrub roses. You certainly wouldn't be cutting back your rambler roses, simply because these flower on growth from the previous season's wood. So any cuts there are going to affect next year's display. And really, I wouldn't even cut your climbers now. I'd wait and cut those in March, as you would do with your regular hybrid teas and floribundas. But this is what the research says. This is what the RHS recommends. January is the last time for climbing roses. And what you do is you're cutting them to a framework so that the new growth comes off that. And that is where you're going to get your new blooms for the spring from. And now we are on to our last group of plants, which are your mahonias, specifically your winter flowering mahonias. Now, these are often forgotten because they're quite dark green. You tend to forget them. They get lost into the back of the boulders, and then wow, in the winter they bounce into flower, look amazing, finish flowering, and then you forget about them again. Now, some of these plants can get a bit big, a bit untidy, a bit messy. So if you want to cut these, you cut these immediately after flowering. Because if you cut them later on in the year, you will prevent the plant from flowering the next season. So now's the time. Typically, you'd only give it a light trim, just to sort of like keep it into a nice tidy shape. But again, if you're going to do big heavy cuts, now would be the time. But again, too heavy, you might stop flowering next year. And that is it. Those are all the plants that are really time sensitive that need to be cut now in January. But there are going to be others out there. And if you've got any great suggestions, put that in the comments. We would love to hear from you. Anyway, thank you for watching, and hopefully we'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.
Right, now, just before you go, if you want to see more content, more behind the scenes stuff, and images that I've taken of some weird freaky plants over the years, then you're in luck, because we've created an Instagram page. So you can find the link in our description. You can find the link on our main page, and if I'm clever enough, I might be able to get a link somewhere up there. Anyway, thank you for watching, and if you want to see more YouTube stuff, then check out this video here. That's quite a good one. And if it doesn't float your boat, then another one right there. And enjoy these while still got the strength, imagination and aptitude to make them. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.